What's going on, everybody? It's Childish back out of the game, coming at you with another Summoners War video. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how I went from C1 at 1430 points all the way up to C3 ranks in a matter of 72 hours. So as always, fam, if you guys are excited about that content that's going to be coming up here, y'all know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, hit the notification bell so you guys know when the next video drops. For those that don't know or have been living under a rock, SWC Americas Cup 2023 just went down here this past weekend. I went out there on Thursday evening and met up with Apps and Once Love among many amazing content creators, influencers, as well as fans. And I had a chance to connect with a lot of them, most notably Apps, who took a look at my account and said, you know what, we can kind of go back to the drawing board and mess around with a couple of things, and we might be able to make some adjustments for you if you're looking to push here. So magically, I got the itch after going back and forth with not only Apps and Once Love, but a lot of different content creators over there, talking about different strategies and tips and whatnot that I could work on, as well as some of the mistakes that I was making along the way that kind of hindered me from being able to push it all. So again, we're going to share a couple of the matches as well as talk about a couple of things. And then before we get into all that, we'll do a little quick showcase of the current units and the rooms I'm using, just in case somebody hasn't seen my video or seen my style of strategy, so you guys kind of know what we're working with. So for those that don't know, I'm essentially a turn one cleaver. I utilize units that provide a multitude of things, but most notably attack bar production, as well as a little bit of deeps here. So we got, for our strippers, we got Chung Pung on the spare. We got we got Ryu on the spare here. We got Chung Pung on Violent, and we got Joe Gunn, who used to be on a Swift set because I ran out of spare. Now he's on the spare set, and he's one of my faster spare sets that I currently got right now. As far as attack bar manipulation, we are using, I guess, attack bar manipulation in the negative side outside of Chung Pung here. We're using Savannah, we're using Ziana, and we have some other units built in the mix here. As kind of like a safeguard if I need a specific unit like that in the element. We got Poseidon up in here. We also have our newly built, newly pulled Nat 5 here. Bloodya is in the mix as well, who has a little bit of attack bar manipulation based on the harmful effects. But most notably, the biggest change that I made, kind of going back to the drawing, going back to what worked the best to get that last G1 rank here a few seasons back, was taking my Vertihill from a triple revenge or double wenge will or whatever, and bringing it back to a Swift set here. So again, definitely not the fastest Swift set that we can really make for this one, but for right now it gets the job done here. And so we've been utilizing it, and you guys are probably wondering why in the world is Vertihill still a thing. Believe it or not, fam, people still to this day, when it comes to turn one, they just believe that after turn one goes, if you don't do everything you're trying to do, it's pretty much all the ways here. But they don't understand the combination of not just the attack bar improvements on the positive end, but both the negative end and the positive end, that allows you just to take so many turns more so than the opponent, which ultimately allows you to kind of adapt. And if a mistake is made, or maybe something's resisted, you still have a way to get back in the mix here and try to get it done. So that's essentially my team in a nutshell. Again, the core team being Water Ryu, Chung Pung, Savannah, Ziana, Vertihill, Tableau. I don't know if I show Tableau's in here, but Tableau's in the mix as well. And then, like I said before, flex units for my elemental damage dealers / controllers are going to be Savannah, Poseidon, and we got Bloodya as well here. So obviously I use units like Oliver. I have units like Sekhmet, and different random units that I utilize for turn 2. But one of the things that we're going to talk about as far as overall ultra strategy, especially in this last week when we're going to be going up against a lot of tryhards, is that I basically honed in on and essentially just stopped playing the the kind of guessing game when it comes to what I wanted to do for strategy. When it comes to strategy and trying to get the highest rank possible, you need to cater your account, as we stated before. Multiple people have stated before. You gotta focus all the runes on that. And for me, I've always had relatively good runes. As you guys saw, I'm running a wide variety of, violent sets in the 260 to 265 range, some despair sets in the 270 to 275 range. I've always had that, but I've always tried to, make those units work, as well as have turn 2 units on the back end with reasonably good runes to go ahead and, utilize it if I need to pivot. Mind you, some of those units still have runes, but some of those units that have runes really didn't need as good as runes as they did. I was basically using some runes and I was that was kind of a little too strong for that unit here, and it could have been a little bit more. It could have been a little bit better for other units. For example, Gio, aka Gui, one of the units out there that I've always had on like a Despair 260 set, but ultimately it really wasn't needed because we're getting so much attack power manipulation by his passive when people utilizing skill that I still was able to cut in numerous times and get the job done, despite the fact that I had all that speed. So again, that's just one example of it, but that just kind of gets in line. Again, if you're looking for kind of like a little list of stuff that I learned along the way to kind of get me back in the mix here, that's probably the biggest thing. Just condensing those runes, the things that we always talk about. Yes, you should have your strategy. Yes, you should have options. If you go up against somebody that's just night and day, there's just no way to get around it. Have some of those units that are force bands or turn 2 units that you can relate to, but the strategy is at hand. We're pushing, we're aggressive. We're going to stick with that strategy here and basically force people to allow me to use my first 4 units that I pick and make them ban the one that I don't want to keep. Okay. Another thing to mention that I think a lot of people forget, especially for this time right now, as you guys can see, we're sitting here at the 4-day mark here. If you're one of those people out there that get motivated to do RTA and then try to jump into it right from the get-go, like right now, it's a very scary time because, again, we're at the end of the season. Everybody's trying to get into the highest rank possible. So a lot of the people out there that haven't been doing a lot of wings are now pushing and seeing how high they can go. I kid you not, fam. Once, we decided that, what, I'm going to go ahead and do this stuff. It really wasn't too hard to get those first 200 points here all the way up into like the 1600. But the 1600 to 1680 were definitely a little bit harder than expected because of the fact that I'm dealing with people that are just as passionate as I am right now about pushing, being aggressive. And so not only are they well-runed teams that they bring in, but they also have the experience of doing, numerous amount of RTAs over and over and over again every single season, that they kind of knew how to adapt when they needed to. And it caused me a little trouble because, again, like I said before, I'm kind of set in a way where I'm just going all in on the turn 1 and, choosing a certain unit or 2 at the end that I want to, basically, force ban for them so that they can let me keep my vertical. Because with this particular strategy, as simple as it seems, if you let me have the vertical in this spot, I'm generally going to get the dub. The only way I don't is if they, outspeed or they, put numerous units out there like the Gio, like the Hey Gang, like the Leo in their lineup, multiple units that don't allow me to have like a clean first wave of stuff here. But again, if they ban the unit that I don't want and they let me have the vertical, even if that first unit or first one doesn't go through, then I can still get my way around and do work here. So next tip that we got to throw out there is, again, the speed tuning aspect. Speed tuning aspect has been talked about so many times. I got to put it out there because right now, up until this point, before I came down to Thursday and connected with apps and once allowed to talk about various things, the one thing that I still to this day was having to struggle deal with is utilizing units again with B tier runes that didn't have everything that you need. I got the despair stats right. I got the speed that I need, but I did not have everything tuned perfectly. While I could have had, things were tuned perfectly, but they could have been toned down like a little bit, 5 or 6 speed, which is kind of irrelevant where I'm currently at. But if I toned them down, that allowed me to get anywhere from 30 to 40, or even 50% accuracy on the units that allow my turn 1 to be a little bit more reliable, right? If we go turn 1 and we outspeed, we're great. We think we're going to win, but it's not always the case here. If you're going turn 1 with all the speed in the world, but you don't have the accuracy to back it up and land the harmful effects, land the strips, land the attack over manipulation, everything that you did to rune up those units and make it work, it kind of got to waste here. So again, outside of honing in your runes, condensing your runes to the best unit to your strategy that you're going to, if you're really looking to climb, then don't forget that you still have to speed tune. You still have to make some adjustments and make sure that everything is looking solid from top to bottom, meaning not just the, stats that you see up in front when it comes to attack, defense, speed, whatnot, but those other ones that we're looking at when we're coming to turn 1, looking at that accuracy, looking at the crit rate, the crit damage, making sure that those are on point. If you're one of those people that play turn 2 and you're rocking a turn 2 game, making sure you have a good amount of effective HP, but most notably the resistance. The resistance in there, the nemesis that's in there, so you can cut in between, stuff like that. That can catch people off guard here, because yeah, at the end of the day, depending on what kind of strategy you're going with, all those things come into play, and it's easy to kind of push those by the wayside and kind of forget, what the goal is on that. And the last but not least, I think the main thing that you got to realize, and I still have sometimes harder to realize, is that as we climb up in the ranks, just the people, you can't help yourself but to admit the truth, and the truth is that these people out there, the reason why they're up there is not just because of the runes or because of the units that they have. It's because they understand the RTA format. They understand the pick and ban phase. They understand how to counter draft. They understand, what kind of units to put on to force you to ban it so they can keep their main there. They're really, really good at that pre-game type of strategy. And if you are still struggling with that because you have not spent the time to, practice that, then that's gonna hinder your results, your progress here moving forward. I'm the first one to admit, and I have in the previous, videos and whatnot, when I really get back into RTA, is that I get to the point where I'm just not utilizing enough wings, so I'm not seeing enough matches of people countering my style of play, so I can learn, adjust, adapt, so on and so forth. You need to get in there, you need to practice it, and when you do that, you'll kind of get an idea of where your strengths, where your weaknesses are. And like I said, you can adjust on the fly as you see fit. So again, hopefully those 3 to 5 tips kind of helped you. I know that a lot of them are going to be really, really hard to deal with because of the fact that you're going up against a lot of strong people right now in the next 4 days here. But if you're one of those people out there that are looking to try to push here, I hope that those tips will all be able to kind of help you out, hone in, and try to get that rank that you're looking for, okay? Again, last but not least, I do want to finish off with a little bit of gameplay, just to kind of showcase kind of what I'm talking about here. Again, I don't have too many things to show. I'm trying to see if I can find, some that I was dealing with here. I think this one was one of those where I somehow managed to get the job done here. So I'm gonna go put this up so I can see if this was one of those ones that I was looking at. Again, I apologize in advance. I guess I've done literally, let's put it this way. I think it was like Saturday and Sunday, both days, randomly woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the first thing that comes to my mind was to do, runs here. In this particular setup, I've just been getting sick and tired of the Dark Robo, so I went ahead and banned his Dark Robo, knowing that, Chiwu was gonna, do his AoE and allow my water breed to cut. And even though Oliver is a really good unit here that can allow me just gonna hinder my attack bar manipulation, when I still kind of stuck with it, even though they got the jump on me. And I think I was able to come out with this win here. So right now, nothing crazy as you would imagine. They're trying to get rid of my Chung Pung. They think that is the biggest threat. So I'm just kind of taking advantage of the units that have defense break when I get them, and take them out one by one here. I did call an audible there and try to stun the Water Monkey King, which I was able to do. Got super lucky on that, and I think that was another reason as to why I ended up coming out with this win here. I went ahead and got that stun when I needed the most, and I think that saved my units for the remainder of the match here. But yeah, man, it was pretty crazy. Again, this is one of those scenarios where, again, we're moving up into the C3 ranks, and now they're not allowing me to have those vertical. So now it's just more of a gotta hone in, focus on what the biggest threat is, and get the job done here. Let's see if I can find yet another one. Again, we still have quite a few wings to do. Oh yes, last tip. The reality of the situation is that now when you get up into the rank that you should probably be in, you're gonna be running into C3 that feel like G3. I don't even remember how this match played out. But I just remember that this guy, he's one of the few people out there that I think I fought that actually deserved to win, if I recall correctly. I haven't seen all the matches yet since I've done them, but we'll kind of go through it because he's actually on the high end of C3 moving into G1 here. So this is one of those scenarios where I think this is kind of showcase what I'm talking about here Vertihill is in the mix here. He believes he got to jump on me because of the fact that I have no damage. But what I have here is a ton of control. Regardless of stuns or no stuns here, I have enough in my arsenal to go ahead and kind of just lock everything in. As you guys can see, the Vertihill plus the Tableau is just getting everything done. Yes, I can do a little bit of work here to push back Juno, and Juno's could eventually heal, but there's just no way around it. Once you get the flow of the match going on, you take out a really strong unit here, you're going to hinder their ability to, get that dub. And again, even if things resist and don't work out the way you want on the jump, because of the fact that you just got so much more attack bar manipulation coming into play, that it's still a potential to win here. I'm one of the first people to admit that when things go wrong turn one, I'm really quick to quit in the match and just kind of give up. But I realize with a strategy like this, where you are incorporating a very high, attack bar manipulator, fast one, units like Vertihill, units like Charlotte, if you're running a super fast Charlotte, like all those units are really strong. And Charlotte's one of those units out there that if I had another switch set here, that would definitely be a unit that I built, because I think that people undervalue her as a unit in your attack bar manipulation kind of arsenal, because some people forget the fact that she provides attack bar manipulation on the positive and negative end. So that's kind of like another project for me that I'll be working on. But yeah, for somewhere or the other here, we got that dub, and we're feeling pretty confident, right? We're getting this tonight. I'm still going to be doing some matches, but tonight I was looking to get up and see if I can hit that 1700. But naturally, I run into people that just make me look outrageously silly when it comes to the runes and overall just quality of your team. So again, like for example, on this one here, I believe this guy's name was Limit. This is one of those matches where if I had an opportunity to pivot out, I probably should have, because what he's currently laying out doesn't allow me to really make this work here. So me personally, I thought that the Oliver was the best ban, but it looks like Zabala would have been maybe a little bit better, or even the Dark Robo. Again, when you're fighting the it's battle for turn one here, you have no choice but to go for the Oliver. But I was kind of blown away at the amount of speed that this guy had. Just kind of reminded me that we're moving up in ranks, we're getting higher up there, and so now we're just gonna, regardless of RNG or no RNG, we're just gonna be running to the people that have stronger runes. So how do we beat somebody that has stronger runes across the board? We hone in on the units that are making our team work the best and put our best runes on that, so that we can, like I said, hone in on our strategy and not really allow somebody that has their rune spread too thin to get an easy win here. Let's see if there was any other ones that I wanted to share. This is another one here that I think was a pretty interesting one here. Piggy. This is another one where it was a loss here, and it was a good draft. Like, this is just one of those guys that are good drafters. The first two units that he picked here, typical when it comes to hiring people that are doing it. He sees me go the Vertihill, so he brings in the Head Gang and the Yang Hong. And then he finishes off with the Oliver here after I pick my kind of standard units. And go figure, like I said, regardless if I go whichever way I go, it's not going to end well for me. If you think about his draft, there's nothing I can truly ban to get turn one. And even if I were to ban some unit that I think was like instrumental for him to get the dub, he still has too much in his arsenal that allows him to control the playing field after he gets that turn one and not allow me to do anything else, right? I get rid of Yang Kong, he still has, 3 AoE units that have the potential to stun and unstrip or whatever the case may be. If I get rid of, the Nephthys, he has a way of turn cycling beyond belief because of the Yang Kong Oliver combination, with a double strip here. So like I said, he got so many units out there that really work good in his lineup, and he just, like I said, he got the first turn and just made me look stupid for lack of a better word. I think this one was the first one where I realized that, okay, maybe this is not going to work. Maybe I shouldn't just force it when I know that they're going to outspeed me. And that's what this guy did. Lamp Eye, he ran in there and then he pivoted out with this units here. So I pivoted out myself and I brought in 2 units that were outrageously toxic. I think a lot of people may have, banned the Leo in the spot given what he laid out, but I think he already hurt himself because of the fact that he laid out Oliver and Tian Lang, and I wanted to force him on that. It was one of those things where, we sometimes when you play with somebody, you you almost level yourself into thinking like, I'm gonna pick this because I know he's gonna do this, but sometimes you got to realize there's certain things where you could pick a team, and even if they got something like this where you got a Leo in here with a tableau, you're like, I can still make it work. I can still get around it. For example, any other type of anti-cleave that uses a GUI, right? Naturally, we're going to be using, our turn one skills and abilities to kind of get that initial strip, reset, tech running list, so on and so forth. But, post turn one, most people would just continue to use turn 2, turn 3 in the spots that just seem warranted. But to kind of, one thing to kind of mention is that, if you're constantly providing ways of getting like a unit like, Gyu, an extra attack bar, it's just gonna make things a little bit more difficult for you down the road here. So I would just, one of the things that I learned, I adjusted to while playing multiple matches here. I'm realizing, you know what? I have plenty of attack bar manipulation. I'm utilizing Vertihill, which is turn 1 attack bar manipulation, or just turn 1, turn 2. I can utilize turn 1 and not make his thing proc. I have, multiple R masters that push the attack bar back on skill 1. So I have ways of controlling without like stressing too much. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we still we're able to make the necessary adjustment on the fly to give us wins, and it worked out really well. I think I want to finish off the video with this particular match here because this particular match was very, very interesting. This is one of those matches, like I said, you get into C3 and you realize I should probably quit right now because there's just no way around it. So he goes with the Oliver Shizuka, which kind of surprises me. I haven't seen it in a while. But then he goes with the double Oracle, providing the bombs that can be utilized alongside the Shizuka. And I realized real quick that I was going to be in trouble. So I knew one of the Oracles had to be banned. I go for Gina, and I bring in the Hey Gang as a force ban. He goes for it, and I'm able to keep my main units that I want to keep here. So as you already saw, he got the jump on me, which was to be expected. And I'm looking to come back through and try to get this win because I want to win. Yeah. Again, I think the big reason why things start turning in like a favor for us, in favor of us, is because, again, we are playing around with a free-to-play unit that just turns cycling beyond belief here. As scary as this looks, sometimes I forget that Shizuka's damage on those bombs is relatively low comparison to an attack-based unit like CR. So even though those bombs got laid in and it was super scary, the amount of damage that he did wasn't really, worth, smiling about or whatever like that. So, or bragging about. So, I still stuck into it, still didn't just let it get the best of me and just kind of went with it. So, as you guys can see, we're still working on CR here. CR is the main threat out of them all. Sometimes I forget that I need to really be a little bit more picky about who I attack, because if I'm attacking a unit that Vertihill can get the full advantage of, then I need to let him be. I can't like take him out right away, right? If I was to kill all the units out there that are non-water, right? Regardless if it's 4 or 2, I basically lose out a unit because of the fact that that unit's heavily reliant upon gaining attack bars for your team to keep the cycles going here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Again, just wanted to showcase a couple of matches that I did today. We do want to do a little bit more, but it's, as you can imagine, it's a little bit easier for me to record these off camera versus on camera. I can save a lot of time, and it's a little less stressful when you're not sitting here trying to make a video on it as well. So definitely going to be doing a little more content on this. Again, I want to give a shout out to all the people in the Summer Circle community that went out there, took part of the event, and all like I said, once in love. Apps was one of the main people in this lineup here that say, you know what, dude, I think if we just go back to the way things were back in the day, you still do relatively well. And he was right. Like I said before, guys, we went from doing 10 wings a day, trying to maintain C2, but getting always knocked into C1 2, going back to one specific strategy, getting aggressive with it, and pushing upwards of 250 points over the course of the final week, which again is one of the hardest weeks in this World Arena season. So pretty happy about that. Is G1 in the works? I think I'm a little bit too far to it, but I did tell him that, basically I'm going to be using my 30 wings, win or loss here. We're looking to play, we're looking to record, we're looking to analyze, and we're hoping to learn from our mistakes here so that we can share it with you guys, and hopefully you can learn from those as well. Okay. Yeah, guys, super long video. I apologize in advance. I guess it's not really advanced because you've already seen it, but definitely wanted to, like I said, get a few things off my chest because to keep it 100 with you guys. Obviously, I play both Summit Sky Arena, both Chronicles, and I kid you not, it doesn't matter, what game I'm playing on the main here. When I go to these SWC, America's Cup with the SWC, like the TOAs and stuff like that, I get reinvigorated, I get remotivated. It's really hard to put the game down, and it's super fun, and I'm glad to share with these moments with you because you know what? Like I said, I've always had the potential to do well in RTA, but I just haven't really pushed myself as good as I like. So I'm trying to think if there's anything more to say. I think that's pretty much it. Outside of that, keep on farming your artifacts because Lord knows you can always use some more. And we will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.